All right, let's get started with 18.3. We have a few examples and we'll turn you loose on the assignment. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find the missing sides with trigonometry. We're going to set up proportions, that's two fractions equal to each other, and then we're going to cross multiply and solve. Okay, so with example one, we're going to start here. Notice that the angle we have is this angle of 42 degrees. Now, if you need to find the other angle, you know all three of them add to be 180, so you could do some subtraction and figure out what the other one is if you need it. But here, if we have this angle, the side opposite that angle, and the hypotenuse. So from this angle, the side opposite is x, and the hypotenuse is 25. So opposite and hypotenuse. So the trig ratio with opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So we're going to use the sine function. So we're going to set it up using sine. So I'll write sine, the angle is 42, and I make that a fraction, equals the side opposite, which is x, over the hypotenuse, 25. So opposite over hypotenuse is sine. So I'm going to use sine of the angle. Now I have this proportion, fraction equal to a fraction. So I'm going to cross multiply. X times 1 is x. And the sine of 42 is some number after you put it in the calculator, times 25. So on my calculator, you have to make sure you're in degree mode because your angle is in degrees. So when I turn it on, I go to mode, or however you do on your calculator. Mine is already in degree mode, okay? So now I can do sine, so it's the SIN button, sine 42. So sine of 42, enter, gives me that number, and then I can just hit times and it'll say, okay, what we originally had there, that answer, times 25, gives me 16.72 something, so we'll say 73. So x is 16.73. Now, since it's a side, okay, then it's just a length or whatever, so we'll just leave it like that. All right, let's go to the next one. Example 2. So here's the angle that we have. So from this angle, we have this side that is x, that is adjacent to that angle. And this side that is 12 is opposite that angle. So we have opposite and adjacent. So that means we're using tangent. So if I set it up, it'd be tangent of the angle is equal to the side opposite over the adjacent side. And then I just cross multiply again. 12 times 1 is 12. Tangent of 75 times x. So I'm going to write x times the tangent of 75. Now this one is a little different because on the previous one we just multiplied and we're done because it was just x times 1. Here now we're going to have to divide by this tangent of 75. So that's if you times it out, it's a number, tangent of 75. So we can divide by it. So tangent of 75. So I do this on my calculator, 12 divided by the tangent of 75. And that's what x will equal. So on my calculator, show you how to do it on this one. I'm going to go 12 divided by, and 12 divided by, and then it's I want you to do this in parentheses because I want the whole thing together. What is it? The tangent of 75. So tangent 75. Now 75 is in its own parenthesis, and then the tangent of 75 is in a parenthesis. So the whole thing now is being divided, and it's 3.22. Okay. Okay, so make sure you're able to do this on your calculator. Example 3. Here's my angle, 36. The side that I have is this side 19, And I also have the hypotenuse. So from this angle, this is adjacent. So adjacent and hypotenuse means I'm using cosine. So cosine of the angle is going to equal the side adjacent over the hypotenuse. Cross multiply. So now we have x times the cosine of 36 equals 19 times 1, 19. So now I'm dividing by the cosine of 36. So just like we did the last one, 19 divided by the cosine of 36, you should get 23.49. Make sure you get that answer so you know that you're doing it right in the calculator. Example 4, here's the angle. From this angle, I have the adjacent side and I have the opposite side. So what ratio uses adjacent and opposite? Oh, it's tangent. It's opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to do tangent of the angle equals the side opposite over adjacent. Then I can cross multiply. X times 1 is x. Tangent of 53 is its own number times 7. So I do this on my calculator. Tangent of 53, enter, times 7, enter. And you should get 9.29. All right, now a different style, or one that requires multiple steps. We're going to find DC, so from here to here, we're going to find that, okay? So I'm going to call that, well, DC, fine. I have this triangle right here. I can find, from this angle, I could find either this side or this side, if I needed. And then over here in this triangle, in order to find this side, I would need the hypotenuse or this one over here. Well, maybe I'll find this shared side so that I could use it in this triangle to the right. So that means I'm going to set it up first with the triangle to the left and solve for BD here. So from this angle, this would be opposite. Let's call it x, I guess. Opposite and hypotenuse. Okay, well that is sine. So I'm going to say sine of 54 equals the side opposite over hypotenuse. So now I am going to cross multiply. X times 1 is x. Sine of 54. So do that on the calculator, enter, and then times that by 20. And so x is going to equal 16.18. So that's what this side is. Okay, so I'm going to use that right there, 16.18. Now in this triangle to the right, I need to use this side, this one that we just found. So from this angle, the side opposite is 16.18, and the adjacent side is what I'm looking for. So opposite and adjacent. Okay, that's tangent. So tangent of the angle equals the side opposite over adjacent. That's the one I'm looking for. We'll just say DC. So let's see. Cross multiply. So the side DC times the tangent of 28 is going to equal 16.18 times 1. So I'm dividing by the tangent of 28. So take 16.18, divide it by the tangent of 28, and DC is going to equal 30.43. So that's this side right here, 30.43. All right. Example 6. An airplane climbs at an angle of 12 degrees with the ground. So, let's see, here's the ground. It's climbing. I'm assuming we're going to make a right triangle, so 12 degrees with the ground. Find the horizontal distance it has traveled once it has reached an altitude of 500 feet. So this would be the horizontal distance. So we're looking for that, right triangle. altitude of 500 feet. Okay, so now we just solve for this side. So from here, this angle, I have the side opposite, and then what I'm looking for is adjacent. So that's the tangent function, opposite and adjacent. So the tangent of my angle equals the side opposite over adjacent. Cross multiply. So it'll be x times the tangent of 12. It's going to equal 500 after I cross multiply. Divide by the tangent of 12. So x will equal, I'll write it down here, x will equal 500 divided by the tangent of 12, which is 2352.32, and this is a height, and I think it's in feet. Or a length, I guess, a distance. All right, so that's how you're going to solve for sides, setting up those proportions, and that's what you're going to do on these. So refer back to your notes, and these will all fit one of those examples.